In 2006, an artist left his home in Japan to visit the Tate Britain Museum in London, and upon seeing the painting Ophelia by John Everett Mallias, he felt crushed. He felt the precise brushwork brought the skin, eyes, and hair to life, unlike his far more simple drawings that just couldn't compare. That artist's name is Hayao Miyazaki, on a trip that took place just a few years after the release of films like Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. Unlike Everett's paintings, animation requires more simplistic drawings, which often focus on expression over realism. The payoff is that these drawings can move and talk and are paired with giant living worlds, complex characters, and beautiful music. Focusing on who is the best is irrelevant here, because Everett makes Everett's art and Miyazaki makes Miyazaki's art. But my art is bad. Saying two famous artists are both good despite being different doesn't really help with that. First of all, your art really may just be plain bad, but bad art has value. I'd rather watch a funny bad movie than 2 hours of averagely executed okay content. Sometimes quote-unquote bad art is better than good art, because it does something new or interesting or heartfelt, while good art is sometimes nothing more than an okay piece of art. In fact, I genuinely think after a couple of years, my art went through a period of being worse than my starting point because it just became so bland. I mean, look at this, okay, boring, stiff, stupid drawing compared to this masterpiece, which really captures the human condition. The quality of art often isn't the important part. It's about the environment it's consumed in, which is something creators really don't have that much control over most of the time. Sometimes an artwork can have more value than the greatest works in history solely because the person who made it is important to you. You might be blind to something in your own art which means a lot to someone else, and ultimately I think that's the goal of creating. Art is meant to be enjoyed. Well, that's a nice thought, but I don't even know what my art is. I don't have an original style or any original ideas or anything like that. Technically, two people probably could make the same thing, but notice how they don't. Everyone has a unique life and perspective, and you'll be inspired by specific things from specific places which you just so happen to see at the right time in your life. If you were to take your favorite piece of media, break it down, and then rebuild it, I'm sure you'd change a couple of things. Even the art you regard to be the golden standard would be slightly different in your hands because of your unique input. This is why you'll never be that artist. I'll never be Hayao Miyazaki, but that's probably for the best because Hayao Miyazaki already exists. But this also means no one else can be you. Only you can make your art, and if there's something you want to make, only you will create it in your specific way, before you run out of time. So honestly, go ahead and copy, but use that experience to find your own voice. JoJo takes a lot of inspiration from Fist of the North Star, Inception pretty much copied Paprika. The Super Mario franchise spawned from basically ripping off King Kong. I mean, look at this. Seriously. But despite the clear inspiration, I'd argue all of these stand on their own as works of art. It's a grey area, but even the greatest artists live in the shadow of someone else. Maybe that's good for motivation to keep pushing yourself, and maybe it's something you need to grow out of, but there's nothing wrong with using artists you admire as a launching point. Everyone does it, even if they complain about it. Your skill level is undoubtedly important, but it isn't everything. Notice how some amazing artists struggle to find work, or sometimes it seems like people in charge of creative projects have no idea what they're doing. Honestly, if you're watching this, I know you have things that you want to make but feel like you're not ready yet. We all do. But you should focus on getting things done, because until you make imperfect finished things, you'll never learn how to make better imperfect finished things.